Namo Narayan. Welcome. I'm very pleased to announce the beginning of a series of classes that'll be free, available on this channel. And we've done this before in the past. Again, we're starting again new with a new series for you of free workshops to help you to be able to learn how to be able to integrate Yoga Nidra into your personal daily practice. This series, this course, is specifically to help you learn how to use Yoga Nidra as self-therapy. Yoga Nidra is an incredibly powerful technique we can do lying down on our back, and you can do it for free. Just, for example, using the channel Tripura Mandala here. There's something like 100 Yoga Nidra sessions on this channel and more coming every week, 2 per week. So for those of you who want to be able to use Yoga Nidra and harness the power of Yoga Nidra for the therapeutic benefits, I've created this series of classes for you. So today is class number 1. We're going to be having these classes every Saturday. Here it is 10 o'clock p.m. Indian Standard Time. So you may want to check what time that is for you in your local area. So if you want to attend the live classes, you can do so. And we're going to have, first will be a presentation for you. And then afterwards, we will have time for questions and answers. Because today is the first live broadcast, I'm not expecting there to be, we don't have questions from the previous class. So in the next class, next week, next Saturday, I'll be addressing any questions that were brought up during today's class. I'll also be glancing from time to time at the live chat and seeing if anybody is having any questions that are coming. But I am facilitating this course alone. There's no moderator, so I hope that you can extend your grace, and there might be some parts that are a little rough around the edges. This is all live and natural for you. So let's get started. The therapeutic benefits of Yoga Nidra. I really want to create this series of free classes for you so that you can know how to use Yoga Nidra for personal self-therapy and how to be able to gain the most from all that Yoga Nidra has to offer. Now, first of all, you can use any Yoga Nidra session for self-therapy. It doesn't have to be Yoga Nidra for therapy. It doesn't have to be Yoga Nidra for sleep. It can be any Yoga Nidra practice. It can be Prana Nidra. It could be non-dual Yoga Nidra. It could be Astral Nidra. It could be even one of the guided meditations on this channel. So the first point here is that Yoga Nidra is a source for experiencing true relaxation. Now, let's talk what we mean by true relaxation. So first of all, the premise or the first principle of Yoga Nidra is that from awareness comes relaxation. Most of the tension that we're carrying with us unconsciously. There's certain muscles that we tense unconsciously. There's habitual muscular tension we carry with us. And when we can do the body scan and we can do conscious breathing exercises, this helps to expand our awareness into the body-mind complex so we can identify those places that we are habitually holding chronic psychological tension. And true relaxation here, as opposed to artificial relaxation, means that you're experiencing those qualities of your own true nature. Then society, the model that we're given for relaxation is escapism. That most people, the way that they understand how to be able to relax is to numb yourself, to distract yourself, to go to sleep, to become unconscious. However, these are artificial means, and oftentimes, sitting down and watching a program or a movie or something like this is actually just creating more tension from sensorial stimulation. And really what we need is to be able to reduce those distractions, to still the body and silence the mind, so you can experience those qualities of your own true nature. And the concept here, to quote Swami Satyananda, the objects of the senses certainly have certain qualities. There's no doubt about that. The objects of the senses can be a source of pleasure or pain. And there's certain objects of the senses that can be sharp or soft, sweet or sour, hot or cold. That's true. But bliss and joy and happiness and contentment and serenity and tranquility and fulfillment, these are all your own true nature. These are qualities of yourself. Like fire has the natural qualities of heat and light. Your own self, your consciousness, your soul, your very being has these qualities of joy and bliss and happiness. And they're not dependent on the objects of the senses. This is a very radical and important understanding for us to have. We have to begin to transition from thinking of fulfillment and contentment as being something that is dependent on the world outside of you, and begin to understand it as being a quality of your own true nature. And to be able to connect with those qualities of your own true nature, first of all, they're not dependent on anything. It's your truth, and the truth is not dependent on anything. What we have to do is to go about reducing the distractions, to silence the mind, to still the body, so you can cultivate awareness of those qualities of your own true nature, which this is true relaxation. And Yoga Nidra and any form of meditation, but we start with Yoga Nidra because Yoga Nidra is an easy relaxation technique you can do just lying down on your back. You don't have to practice asana months and months and months before you can finally sit in a classical yoga sitting posture like Padmasana. You can just begin today right from where you're at. Even if you've never done a day of yoga or asana in your life, you can lie down on your back and just click play and listen. And that's the only requirement for doing Yoga Nidra. It's just to be able to listen to the instructions of the facilitator. So that's the first point, is then Yoga Nidra gives you a method for experiencing true relaxation, for helping you to connect with those qualities of your own true nature: bliss, serenity, tranquility, happiness. The next point is then Yoga Nidra gives us a multi-dimensional form of relaxation. So there is the physical body, but human beings are multi-dimensional beings. And we have a physical body, this is a gross level, but we also have a subtle body. And the subtle body, to make it simple for us, is those things that are non-physical, that you can't put your finger on and you could never dissect and see with the eyes, with the physical eyes anyway. It's the mind, the emotions, the psyche. These are the components of the subtle body. And just like we have a physical body, we also have a subtle body. And Yoga Nidra gives us a way for not only achieving physical relaxation on the gross level, but for also achieving subtle relaxation on that more subtle level by relaxing the breath, relaxing the emotions, relaxing the mind, and staying awake in the conscious dreaming state of mind, so that whatever you might be repressing, whatever is influencing your moods and influencing your behavior unconsciously, you can begin to develop awareness to those things. It comes up, it percolates up onto the surface of the mind during the deeper stages of Yoga Nidra after physical relaxation is complete. So it helps to bring up the repressed matter from the psyche. And because this is the model, again, we're given from society, we're given the model of repression. Just distract yourself. Don't look at those ugly, uncomfortable things. Put on a smile, put on a happy face for the world. And always keep this kind of artificial happiness with you, right? That's the model that we're given, is repression. But repressing does not work. Not only does repressing whatever might be disturbing you or causing you stress, not only does that continue to influence your behavior and your moods, but chronic psychological tension is a killer. It goes on to create psychosomatic illnesses and various forms of organic disease. So all of these things, this anxiety, this depression, this chronic stress, it all has its source in the mind. And we have to understand that we are multidimensional beings. We need a relaxation technique to help give us access to that layer of our being, which we can't get from just watching movies or your favorite series on whatever channel. We have to have some kind of meditation technique to silence the mind and go within and develop that higher awareness. Yoga Nidra is a method for addressing chronic psychological tension. This is a model of stress-related illnesses that was developed by Dr. Udupa from Benaras University in Varanasi. These of illness and disease. First of all, there's the psychic stage, which means some kind of psychological tension is there. Chronic psychological tension. As long as that chronic psychological tension is sustained, it continues to manifest onto the more gross dimensions of our being. So there's something in our life, some change in our life that we're not able to adapt to. We're not able to adjust and accommodate some change in our external environment, whatever it might be. And that is creating chronic psychological tension. That's the first stage. Yoga Nidra helps to relieve that chronic psychological tension. So that's the root of all illness and disease, is the psychic stage. Yoga Nidra goes straight to the root and helps you to gain relief on that level before it aggravates and before it creates problems in your personal health and in your relationships and in all the other areas of your life. After the psychic stage, if this chronic psychological tension is prolonged, then it begins to go to the next stage, which is psychosomatic illnesses. There's many different forms of psychosomatic illnesses. Basically, with that word psychosomatic, psycho, we understand means the psyche, and somatic means the body. So these are physical symptoms that have something in the psyche as their root. So chronic stress, for example. A very common psychosomatic illness is insomnia. As soon as there's some kind of chronic stress in our life, the first thing that is often impacted is our ability to sleep. And a very large amount of people have problems sleeping at night. I saw one study that says something like 60% of people in the United States have problems on and off with sleeping. They have sleeping disorders. It might not be full-on clinical insomnia, but it can be to different degrees. That's huge, 60%. And something as natural as being able to fall asleep at night, this indicates that there's some major problems there. So whenever there's chronic psychological tension, it first manifests as behavioral issues in the form of stress, anxiety, depression, insomnia, and the many different types of psychosomatic illnesses that there are. Now, if it continues to be prolonged, if the psychological chronic tension, because we cannot adapt, adjust, and accommodate to the changes in our environment, if that is prolonged further, then it goes to the somatic stage, which means the physical body. And what Dr. Udupa is talking about here is then certain systems of the body and organs of the body become targeted. and they begin to get overworked. So maybe the cardiovascular system gets overworked as a result of this chronic tension, as a result of not getting enough sleep at night and having insomnia. And when these systems get overworked over time because of that root, the chronic psychological tension, then it manifests as organic illness and disease. And this is, we have so many different names for this. This is where the current medical field, we have so many different names for all the different diseases and illnesses. That's on the final level, the organic stage. The reason that this is so important, this model is so important, is it is helping us to understand that that's just the last stage. And there's a cause to the organic stage. And the cause to the organic stage of illness and disease is in the mind and psyche. And modern medicine today is generally concerned, not completely, but generally the approach is treating the symptoms of illness rather than the cause. It's like a giant pharmaceutical band-aid. And we are still just given this model to suppress, to repress, and not look at what we are carrying deep within inside of us. Just take a pill. And this just, as most of you know, this just creates further problems to our health. These chemicals and these drugs have various side effects, which can create a whole host of other problems. You started off with one problem, and then after taking pharmaceutical medications for so long, then all these other problems are generated as a result of that. So this brings us to the dire need for relaxation therapy. We must have some kind of relaxation technique in our life, which is reliable at giving us that psychological relaxation, not just physical, but also mental, emotional, and psychological. Emotional, this is usually achieved through the conscious breathing stage of Yoga Nidra. Through conscious breathing, we relax the emotion because every emotion has a corresponding breathing pattern. And deep relaxation has also a corresponding breathing pattern. Slow, deep abdominal breathing, what we call yogic breathing. And then mental relaxation is achieved during the visualization stage of Yoga Nidra, when we visualize so many things. Maybe there's a story that unfolds and you go on a walk through nature or something like this. Or there's many, many different types of visualizations during Yoga Nidra. This is for the mental stage to help bring us mental relaxation. But then the psychological stage, this is when we have to develop higher, neutral, detached, third-party awareness to what is percolating up from within, from deep within, what we might be carrying within ourselves unconsciously. We don't know that actually we have some unconscious, trapped psychological tension within us. We're repressing it. We might know. There's certain things you are aware of that you know you're repressing, and there's other things we might have forgotten about, or we're just repressing unconsciously. And Yoga Nidra gives us that opportunity to be able to stay awake during deeper than physical relaxation, so we can become aware to what we are carrying within us, to allow those things that are just beneath the surface of our heart to come up into the light of awareness, so that we can become aware of them and allow them to express themselves, give ourselves permission to feel whatever it is that is there on our heart, to let it out, to express it, even if it means you might cry, even if it means you might feel some uncomfortable kind of anxiety or anxious nervous energy also might manifest during Yoga Nidra. This is actually a good sign. It means you're letting it out. Yoga Nidra is like the valve that opens up that psycho-emotional steam within us to get it out. Otherwise, it becomes psychosomatic illness, somatic, and organic disease. I hope that you are enjoying this presentation. We're just getting started. If you are enjoying this, you can use the super thanks button to be able to give a small contribution. This helps me to continue doing this kind of presentations and work. I would love to do more of these free courses for you on this channel, but I do need your reciprocation. It's got to be a two-way street. We all have our human needs, not just wants, but needs, and you help me to be able to continue this work, which is my passion. And I love being able to do this kind of free presentations for you. Yoga Nidra for Self-Therapy is this new series that I'm doing on this channel. I don't know how many classes there's going to be. Hopefully we can make this a regular thing that will be done every week on Saturday, starting at 10 o'clock p.m. Indian Standard Time. I'm currently in Rishikesh, India. So you can double check what time that is in your local time, so you can attend the live classes, because at the end we'll also have some time for questions and answers, and any questions that I didn't get to, or if you want to post some questions after the live broadcast, then I'll get to it in the next week's session. So it's important to understand that stress is a natural response. It doesn't mean you're a broken person. We all have stress, and in fact, it's not only natural, but it's good. But we have to learn to manage it. Why is it good? Because stress is the way that your limbic system in your brain is telling you that there's something not right. There's some interruption in the normal patterns of life. There's some change in your environment that you need to be alert to. You need to be ready for in case it's dangerous or it's a real valid threat. So stress is a natural, healthy response being generated by the limbic system in your brain, telling us that something's different. So we have to understand that this is not meaning that there's something wrong with you. We have to give ourselves a little bit of grace and understanding. And when that stress response comes, know that it's natural, know that it's a healthy part of your nervous system, and analyze what it's trying to make you alert to. Become aware of your own thoughts and emotions from a detached third-party perspective, as if they're not your thoughts, as if you're looking at them from outside of yourself. See what you're thinking. Becoming aware to certain scripts that you're running. Scripts meaning that these are thought patterns that are usually imposed on us from external influences, from our society, from our parents, from our teachers, from the news, from politicians, from so many different factors. We might be running certain scripts in our mind, right? We have to become aware to that by looking at our own thoughts as if from outside ourselves, creating a psychological distance between pure awareness and the gross conscious mind. The pure awareness is the real self. It is not subject to change. You always are that pure awareness, which is fully expanded and is the substratum of the mind, consciousness. But the mind is an object of your awareness. So it's not the real you, subject to change, always changing and impermanence. And it's on the objective side of awareness, whereas you, the awareness, the consciousness, on the subjective side of all experience. So we have to understand that I have a body, but I am not my body. I have a mind, but I am not my mind. These things are subject to change and impermanent. But you, the pure awareness, the pure consciousness, you have always been you your whole life. You have always been that silent witness within on the subjective side of experience, observing and experiencing the objects of your awareness, such as the objects of the senses, the body and the mind, and the thoughts and the emotions themselves. So this is matured awareness. We develop this matured awareness that we are not anything subject to change. Anything subject to change cannot be the real you, because you've always been you. The body is subject to change. If you look at pictures of yourself every 7 years, it looks like you have a whole new body, right? But at any time did it feel like you were experiencing a change and going into a new body? No, there's always been that seamless inner experience, which is just awareness beyond the body. Also, the emotions, the thoughts, even your identity. Think about the things that you identified with as a young child versus what you identify with today. So even identity undergoes change. That's not the real self either. You are just pure, featureless, choiceless awareness. So in order to deal with the stress that arises, which is a natural response from the limbic system in the brain, we have to learn to distance ourselves from all experience, to know that you are that formless, silent self, not the objects of your awareness. So next, we have to talk about liberating trapped psychological tension. Yoga Nidra helps you learn how you are manifesting stress physically. Because stress isn't a thing. It's not a real thing. You can't put your finger on it. It is arising in a codependent relationship between the body and the mind. There is some factor, something is stimulating a response in the limbic system, and then our breathing changes, or we have certain tension in the muscles. There's habitual muscular tension. Not only are there certain muscles that become tight and we clench just habitually whenever awareness is lost, but there's also certain muscles that become tense in response to certain emotions. So we have to start to develop awareness for how we are manifesting stress and tension physically, from the mind to the body. And there's this chain. There's the mind, the breath, and the body. So we manifest tension physically through the body. We manifest tension through the breathing patterns, and we manifest tension through the thoughts, the thought processes. Now, these three form a chain. And if you can break the tension on one chain, then you automatically, spontaneously are breaking the tension on the other two as well. So by becoming aware of how you are physically manifesting stress, tension, anxiety, whatever, depression, anything, by becoming aware to how you're manifesting it physically, and then consciously relaxing those muscles, you can also relax the breath and relax the mind. Or by becoming aware to your thought processes, to the different scripts that you're running that have been imposed on you from society. We can then, by silencing the mind, becoming aware to that as not self, subject to change, impermanent, therefore not the real you, detaching from it, releasing it, letting it go, then the breath will change and the body will also relax as well. Or the breath. If we can become aware to how we are manifesting stress and tension through our breathing patterns and choose to start to breathe deep and slow and full, utilizing the full capacity of the lungs, then that also diffuses the tension on the mind and the body. So these three are like linked chains. And if you can break one chain, one link, then the whole chain gets broken. Now, it might happen that during Yoga Nidra, negative experiences occur. Why is this? And it seems almost like violating. You're like, no, I lie down in Shavasana in order to experience relaxation and serenity. So why am I experiencing this anxiety or this release of nervous tension? It's because there's a correlation between the body and the mind. The body and the mind are one. And from when there's actually muscles in the body that we're clenching that corresponds to that repressed nervous tension or repressed psychological tension. And guess what? When you now are learning to relax so deep for maybe the first time ever for some of you, and you're relaxing those muscles, the corresponding tension in the mind and psyche is also released. And there's this release of nervous energy that comes up to the surface. And it can be experienced as anxiety and other things, depression, actual physical pain sometimes can occur during Yoga Nidra. And we need to understand that this is natural. It doesn't mean that, oh, I can't do Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is not for me. No, this is actually a good sign. It means that you're letting it out. It means that you're ventilating. You're getting this outside of you. So you're not carrying it with you all the time. So this is why we need to have no expectations during Yoga Nidra. Just be with yourself fully. Just be willing to allow whatever is there within you to manifest and express itself. Even if it means that you might cry, even if it means that you experience anxiety or the release of trapped nervous energy. Don't be over attached to needing to have a good Yoga Nidra session. Meaning, don't think that Yoga Nidra is going to give you relaxation or joy or happiness or contentment, because those are qualities of yourself. Those are your own qualities. What Yoga Nidra does is that it helps us to reduce the distractions on the surface level of the mind, helping the body to become still so that you can purge, you can release all of that, those mental effluents, those mental impurities. And then once those come out, relaxation is your own natural state. Relaxation, serenity, tranquility, bliss. These are qualities of yourself, not the qualities of Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is not doing it to you. Yoga Nidra is giving you the opportunity to release the valve so that psycho-emotional tension can be released. And that process might be a little uncomfortable at times, but detach yourself from it. Know that that is subject to change, impermanent. This too shall pass. And it's not the real self. So detach yourself from it. View that uncomfortable negative experiences, such as anxiety and nervous tension during Yoga Nidra, view that as if it's something outside of you. You are the pure awareness. Whereas tension, stress, anxiety are objects of the mind. You are not your mind. The mind is subject to change. The mind is nothing but a flow of change. You are that awareness on the subjective side of all experience. So release the expectations to having to have a good Yoga Nidra session. The good effects of Yoga Nidra will come on their own, because it's allowing you to experience true relaxation. That was the first slide in this presentation. True relaxation means Yoga Nidra helps you to experience your own qualities. Like heat and light are the natural qualities of fire. So too, bliss and joy are your own qualities and not dependent on anything outside of you. Not even dependent on Yoga Nidra. Eventually, you won't need to do Yoga Nidra anymore. It'll take a couple months for certain people, less or more time. Maybe some people only a few weeks, other people maybe as many as 3 or 4 months of doing consistent Yoga Nidra. But eventually you can leave the practice because relaxation is your own natural state. We don't have to drink for it. We don't have to smoke for it. We don't have to indulge in harmful behavioral and lifestyle components for it. You don't have to do even meditation or Yoga Nidra for it either. It's your own natural state. Yoga Nidra is giving you the opportunity to purify and to release whatever's trapped within the psycho-emotional subtle body, which is also connected to the physical body. When you relax the physical body, now you're also releasing that trapped psycho-emotional energy as well. So we should expect that there might be some negative experiences during Yoga Nidra. Again, this doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. This doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. This doesn't mean that you can't do Yoga Nidra. No, this is a good sign. And you're getting closer now. You're one step closer to just having that bliss of relaxation as your natural state all the time, not just when doing yoga nidra. And it's okay if sometimes you fall asleep, because that's actually a defense mechanism. Sleep, there's multiple purposes for sleep. One is just for relaxation, revitalization, and the other is as a defense mechanism when there's too much nervous energy coming up to the surface of our being. When there's too much energy manifesting on the surface of the mind responds by shutting down and just going to sleep. So it's okay if you fall asleep. Don't think again that, oh, I'm a bad yoga nidra practitioner, I can't do yoga nidra. No, there's oftentimes I've been doing yoga nidra since 2008, 15 years. And there's times then even I fall asleep in the middle of a session, because there's times in our lives when there's more or less stress that we're facing. And maybe actually deep sleep is what you need right now. So if you want to go deeper into your practice, you can set a sankalpa, right? You can set the sankalpa to stay awake during yoga nidra. And you can also practice doing yoga nidra at different times of day as well. But if you do fall asleep, just see it as a chance to purify the psyche, to allow that deep purification to happen while you are in the unconscious state. And that's fine. Managing anxiety and depression or any kind of psychosomatic illness with yoga nidra. First of all, Sakshi Bob is what makes this therapy. Sakshi Bob means the attitude of the silent witness. Sakshi is another word for the Atman, for the true self, on the subjective side of all experience, as pure awareness. You can observe what you're thinking. You can observe what you're feeling. So because you can know what you're thinking and you can influence your thoughts, that means there is an intelligence beyond the mind. Because you can observe your ego, and because you can influence your ego, that means there is an intelligence beyond the ego. And we would call this level of our being the Sakshi, the witness, which is just pure awareness, pure consciousness, the formless, silent self. So when you can consider that anything that is an object of your awareness is not the real you. Anything that's an object of your awareness, if you're aware of it as an object, it's not the formless, silent self. It's not the Atman. This is the first stage in non-dual meditation. The first stage is separating out. Neti, not this, not that. The second stage is actual non-duality, in which we realize that actually there is no separation. Our thoughts are a projection of ourself, and we are all creating our illusions of reality. And we can't know the world as it is objectively. We are only experiencing the world subjectively from our own limited perspectives. And consciousness creates reality. I'm going to be doing a workshop coming up in September on non-dual meditation, for those of you who are interested in more on this kind of higher teaching of non-duality. It's not yet on the website, but it will be. What is on the website right now you can sign up for is the Prana Vidya course is coming up on Friday. This will teach you how to heal yourself and others with vital life force energy, channeling cosmic energy, Mahaprana, to have radical transformational healing in your life. And I've used this for myself. It is very powerful. It is very potent. I can promise and guarantee you will see radical healing in your life by learning how to channel and direct prana. There's a coupon code for that, Prana 23. You can get 33% off. So please join me for that course starting on Friday. You can also get a small contribution using the super thanks button, so then I can continue doing these free classes for you as well. Your reciprocation really helps me. Also commenting, liking, sharing, asking questions will also give me a chance to produce more content for you as well. So Sakshi Bob is what makes it therapy. The ability to detach yourself from your thoughts and emotions and whatever's coming up from within the psyche, to seeing it as not self, knowing it is subject to change and impermanence, knowing this too shall pass. Anything that comes up during Yoga Nidra, look at it from the perspective of a silent, detached witness, just seeing it in the light of neutral awareness, not trying to derive a sense of self from it, not saying even my thoughts. Don't even think of them as your thoughts. They're just thoughts. They're just emotions. A lot of our thoughts are actually borrowed from our society. We're running certain scripts. So don't even see that your thoughts as yours, or this emotion, or this trapped nervous energy, or anxiety, or depression. Don't see it as you. You are the formless silent self that is aware of that thought or emotion or nervous energy. It's subject to change, whereas you are not. There's a difference between the seer and the seen, the subject and the object. The objects and the seen are subject to change, whereas the subjective self and the seer is not subject to change. That's the real self, the immortal self, or Atman. So how this attitude, then anything and everything that comes up during a Yoga Nidra session is coming up to be healed, to have your awareness and matured understanding be developed. It is coming up to be transcended or integrated into a more whole version of yourself, where you don't have to fight against yourself or repress thoughts or think, oh no, I shouldn't be thinking these thoughts. No, just look at it from outside yourself. Allow awareness to mature. Allow your understanding to mature in the neutral light of Sakshi Bob. Sakshi Bob is witness consciousness. Remain a detached witness to all thoughts and feelings. Remain an observer, the silent witness. Give yourself permission to feel 100%, even feel it 200%, meaning exaggerate it, let it out, really let it out. Whatever trapped nervous energy that there is within you that is creating this depression or that is creating this anxiety, let it out. Don't try to force it down. Don't try to distract yourself. Don't try to put a Band-Aid over it. Really give yourself permission to feel 200%. Then it expresses itself and you can transcend it. It's this energy that's inside of you that must come out, has to come up and bubble up and burst. And repressing doesn't work. Repressing things just causes it to continue influencing your behavior and influencing your moods unconsciously. So don't repress. However, we cannot always do that during daily life, outside in the world, during work. If we always allow whatever we're feeling, we express whatever we're feeling all the time, that might be too much. We might not be able to function in the world, in our workplace, and it can create maybe some conflicts in our interpersonal relationships. However, during meditation and during Yoga Nidra, this is a time when you can allow yourself to feel, to release whatever there is trapped, pent up, psycho-emotional nervous energy within you. Your Yoga Nidra is a time when you can allow yourself to be fully human, to face the shadow self, to embrace whatever is within you, and to let it come up into the light of neutral, detached awareness so it can be healed, transcended, or integrated. So, healing yourself with prana. Prana is universal life force energy. And we can kind of understand illness and depression from an energetic perspective. Then illness and depression and anxiety, these are places where there's an imbalance of energy, where the energy is maybe blocked or stagnant. Like if you think about a body of water, there's a nice flowing river or maybe a lake that has an inlet and an outlet and is keeping the water healthy, or there's a swamp. And a swamp is where there's stagnant water and there's not very much dissolved oxygen, not very much life living inside of a swamp, right? So that's the swamp is like when there's stagnated energy in different parts of the body, and that leads to health problems, that leads to depression, that can also lead to anxiety and all sorts of different issues. So we can look at our health challenges and health problems from a purely energetic perspective. Prana Nidra is based on the yogic science of Prana Vidya, which I'm leading a class. It was a 4-week class that's starting this Friday, August 18th. So I invite you to join me for this class. We're going to be going all throughout this. It's a science, and you can correct the imbalances and blockages where there's stagnated energy in your body. You can consciously direct prana to parts of your body that needs healing, or to Manipura chakra, which is your internal reservoir of prana. You can send prana throughout your whole body for general disorders. You can even heal things like psychological disorders. Even degenerative diseases can be corrected. I'm helping one of my friends right now who was just diagnosed with arthritis, and he's an artist. His whole life purpose, he feels, is to make art. So getting that diagnosis from the doctor was like soul crushing for him. And I said, don't let it in. You can heal yourself. You can correct these places where there's dips or blockages in your energy using Prana Vidya. So I've been going through teaching in Prana Vidya, and I would love to also teach you Prana Vidya. I've used this technique for seemingly miraculous healing in myself. I know it works. And I can promise you that you can also have incredible healing, not only for yourself, but you can also send healing prana to loved ones, friends, to the whole planet Earth for healing as well. So healing with prana helps to accelerate the natural healing process. It's not mere visualization. It's not just a nice fancy thought or visualization. Prana is real. Prana is the universal life force energy that is at the subtle level, the template of all matter. All matter has a subtle energetic template, and that is being run by prana. So by sending prana to the subtle template of matter, we can revitalize, re-energize, heal the physical matter as well. So a simple prana healing technique, the last Prana Nidra session that was released on this channel, Tripura Mandala, was using the simple prana healing technique where we tune into Manipura chakra, because there's already prana there. We don't have to build prana at Agya, at the brow center. It's already there at Manipura. So you can tune into Manipura, visualize prana expanding with the inhalation and contracting with the exhalation, expanding with the inhalation, contracting with the exhalation, feeling this wave of heat and light, prana, expanding from the core of the abdomen, Manipura chakra, your core of personal power, your reservoir of prana shakti, vital life force power. And then after you start to feel this energy of prana, then you can direct it to any part in your body that might need healing. So that's the simple prana healing technique. Then there's also the advanced prana healing technique, which involves first tuning in to prana expanding and contracting at the core of the abdomen at Manipura. Prana is active during the inhalation and then passive during the exhalation. So first is you tune into the 5 vayus. The 5 vayus are the subtle winds in your body. Prana vayu, apana vayu, samana vayu, udana vayu, and vyana vayu. That's stage 1. Then when you have awakened the pranic body by focusing on these 5 vayus, then you begin building prana at the brow center, at Agya, to awaken Agya. Because Agya is the switch for activating Muladhara chakra, which is the switch for turning on the Mahaprana, the Kundalini, which flows through the central pathway of Sushumna. So first we need to activate Agya chakra, and we do that by moving prana through Pingala Nadi. So in stage 2 of Prana Vidya, we're moving prana up through Pingala Nadi to Agya chakra to awaken Agya chakra. When Agya chakra is active, then Muladhara is also active and Sushumna Nadi is active as well. Now you can begin building Mahaprana, cosmic energy, by moving prana from Muladhara straight up the spine with the inhalation, briefly holding as prana condenses and concentrates at the brow center, then exhaling only the breath awareness back down while visualizing the prana stays there at the brow center. And you do this for several minutes, about 40 breaths or so, until you can actually feel, and you will be able to feel this pulsating or a light pressure, or maybe you have a vision of an orb of white light in the space of Chittakash. Then comes the next stage of Prana Vidya, in which you direct that prana that's been built up at the brow center, Agya. You direct it with the inhalation to whatever body part needs healing, and exhale back to Agya to gather more. Inhale, directing prana. Exhale, coming back to Agya to gather more, and visualizing the body part that needs healing to be saturated and glowing with prana, glowing with white light. So that's the advanced prana healing technique you'll be learning in the Prana Vidya course starting on Friday. To heal others with prana, after you've built up a sufficient enough amount of prana at the brow center, bringing Mahaprana up through Sushumna, then you visualize the recipient, whoever you want to heal. You visualize them in the space of Chittakash, which is the mental space in front of your closed eyes. So you imagine them. You create a mental image of them in your mind. And during the inhalation, you send prana from the brow center to that mental image, seeing it saturate into whatever body part needs healing, or for general healing, for general disorders, you could send prana to their Manipura chakra at the navel, or you can send prana to the whole body. And then with the exhalation, you visualize the prana stays at the mental image while only the breath awareness comes back to the brow center to gather more prana. Inhaling, directing prana to the recipients in the mental space, exhaling back to the brow center to gather more. Prana moves with the inhalation, and energy flows where the mind goes. So this is not mere mental healing or faith-based healing or visualization. This is a science. This is an ancient yogic science called Prana Vidya, which I had the great good fortune to learn in the ashram, Rikiya, while Swami Satyananda was still there. And so I was initiated into Prana Vidya. And that was 13, 14 years ago. And I've practiced it a lot. I've internalized this technique. I can heal myself with prana. Whenever I get a lot of stress, too much stress, I get canker sores on the inside of my mouth. And it used to be really bad before I learned Prana Vidya. I finally started actually practicing this technique because in my mind, I was like, oh, this is too advanced of a technique. Maybe some yogis can do it, but not me. Who am I? Right? That's what I thought after I took the course. My confidence wasn't quite there yet. But I had one time really bad canker sores on the tip of my tongue, like the size of a dime. It was so bad, and I couldn't even talk, couldn't even eat, and it wasn't going away. And after like 10 days or so of this, I was like, why don't I just try this pranic healing technique I learned at the ashram? Why don't I just try it? What do I have to lose? So I did prana vidya on myself, and it healed in the course of a couple of days. So it accelerates the natural healing process. And I mean, it really worked. And then I was blown away. I was shocked. I was like, oh, wow, this works. This is powerful. Prana vidya is actually more powerful than Kriya Yoga. It's not just me saying that. I've had a lot of the students that I've taught this method to, they've come back and they said those very same words. It is very powerful, and I would love to share it with you. So you can join me this next Friday for a 4-week Prana Vidya intensive course, which you'll harness the vital life force energy of Prana Shakti for healing yourself and others. It accelerates the natural healing process and elevates physical, mental, and emotional health. You can use this for physical healing. You can also use it for psychological disorders. You can even use this to correct degenerative illnesses. So this is very, very, very powerful. I'd love to share it with you. This teaches you to cultivate harmony with nature. Again, this is not just a nice visualization or faith-based healing. This is a science. And it's a science of harmonizing yourself with these natural processes in nature. Energy flows where the mind goes. And you can direct, we already are, but you can consciously direct prana with your mind to heal yourself. This also helps to reduce stress, improve circulation, and increase vitality. Using prana vidya, you can awaken the pranic body, the pranamaya kosha. You can awaken the Shakti, the Prana Shakti, and also Kundalini Shakti. You can awaken Agya Chakra. Agya Chakra is the switch for turning on Muladhara Chakra at the base of the spine. So when working with chakras, first we activate Agya. This is a secret that you're not going to find in a lot of books. This is a secret, and you have to be a part of an actual living yogic lineage to learn. I have been initiated into yoga. My guru, Swami Niranjanananda Saraswati, has initiated me into yoga. So I'm bringing you a living lineage. And you will also, this is a form of initiation into Prana Vidya. I can also, because I'm a part of a living lineage, I can also pass that on to you. I'm not a guru, but I am part of a living lineage. So I can also bring that living science to you as well, to be able to utilize in your own personal life. So this awakens the pranic body, pranamaya kosha, Agya chakra, and Sushumna nadi. Go to tripurayoga.org and you can look right there on the home page. Scroll down just a little bit, you'll see Prana Vidya, or you can go to upcoming courses in the main menu. And because you're an audience, you are a very valuable, you are the heartbeat of this channel. I want to give you this coupon code, Prana23. You can get 33% off. There's only 4 left. Earlier today, a few hours ago, there was 5, now there's 4, and it's starting on Friday. So don't waste any time. If this sounds like something that you're interested in and could benefit your life in measurable ways, then I encourage you to go right now to tripurayoga.org, use the coupon code Prana23 to get 33% off while there's still 4 more coupons left. And with great love and respect, well, let's see if there are any questions from anybody. Have any questions come up? Comments are, I don't see comments. So this is a process. This is the first class that we're having here, everybody. So I appreciate your patience. I might not have enabled comments. If that was the case, I apologize. The next class there will be, and I'll turn on comments so you can ask questions, because for next week's class, this is going to be every Saturday, by the way. We're going to have a free class like this. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer your questions in the next class. Today, I'm not seeing any. And if you've asked them, but I'm not able to receive them, then I sincerely apologize. They will be answered. Please tune in for next week's class. With great love and great respect, I thank you with all my heart. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om.